Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi. Hello, hello. I'm hoping the world can hear me and these smooth lo-fi beats. Are the beats? Is that yep, you can hear me? Oh, the tension is palpable. I will feast while I wait. Sheldon, you're such a wild child. Brilliant. You can hear me. Oh, I'm getting good at this. Hello. Hey. You can hear me, but can you hear those smooth lo-fi beats? Courtesy of Lofi Girl. I hope you can. Like a fine coffee. Well, enough messing about. Hi, I'm DM Dan. This is Explorers of Elsewhere, Tavern Between Dimensions live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to you beautiful people who are already in the chat. Tonight we're just going to have a proper little chill one. Because who knew that creating a new tabletop role-playing game campaign requires so much prep work. And I wasn't lying in the title. We are building a city. But the Dan in me was not happy with these little coloured blocks, so we have to have these little incarnate houses instead. But yeah, if you are, as and when you're watching this may well be the first time that you're seeing the city of Elysia, which is going to be the focal point for Campaign 2, Elysia Rises. This is in fact the Elysia, and it will be rising. Yeah, so we're just going to have a real quiet night. Feel free to say things in the chat, or just kind of have me on the background, second-hand listening to these smooth lo-fi beats. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna really probably talk much, and I'm kind of using this as an excuse to actually do something, because this is what ADHD brain requires. That and some banging sweet and sour tofu. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Cole. Yeah. Yes. This has been a really interesting map to make. Because there are quite a lot of boundaries and restraints, but at the same time, kind of having to put new spins on everything. You've got a banging burger? I don't think you should be talking about your children like that, girl. How is the volume of the smooth lo-fi beats? And the ASMR of me eating dinner. Right. Hello, Tilda. I should inform you that your husband referred to your child as a burger. I mean, you should have a word. Right. So let's make some buildings. Yeah. So what's I don't know if this lo-fi radio that's playing is actually playing. Like, can you hear it? I can see the line bouncing up and down, but I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to assume not. So let's turn that up a little bit. Yeah, lo-fi. It do help the concentration. So yeah, Inkarnate's pretty nuts for stuff like this. How do I best want to do this? Let's go blue. Let's go blue for this bit. Now you can. Cool. I'll leave it there or so. Maybe turn it up a bit. There he is. So, tell you what, just to treat you eager beavers that are already in the chat, I don't really know if I've kind of spoken to many, if any, of you about this so far. Let's put that there. Ooh, let's slide that one in there. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, no. That is not perfection. Perfection. Cool, yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than, like, thumpingly loud lo-fi. Yeah, I say, this is the city of Elysia. Ha ha! This is actually just like a stamp that I've put on so I can colour everything on the right places. But yeah, over the course of campaign 2, we're going to have many hijinks and capers across the numerous districts, and this is going to be a test of my GMing knowledge to see if I can remember what names I gave them all. But this area here that I've already filled out is Rookridge. It's like the high density population slums type area. Going round, we've got Haveny and Dusklin, so two sort of like neighbouring districts that are very kind of similar, but they kind of share a name. This might tickle your pickle, Carl, but it's a bit like Brighton and Hove. And this is a site of rampant gentrification. It's filled with kind of people who don't have a noble standing, but have found themselves with a lot of spare cash. Run by seagulls, I think you find. There's an area here that I've started plonking things in. This is called the Ivory. So this will be a bit effectively, it's a sort of a walled community, and once upon a time, before the eschaton, this was where House Antelier lived. So the houses, like the literal houses of the great House Antelier, but ever since she got chased out, like Lady Antelier got chased out with all the others during the war, this area is now kind of pseudo abandoned. All the buildings have fallen into disrepair, so we're talking like wide white cobblestone streets with buildings that look like they've just been ripped out of Last of Us kind of thing. Just like a little bit overgrown and dilapidated, and now full of squatters. Up top here we have Celestry. It's Soho. It's Soho, London. It's where you might go if you don't want your night to end quite yet. The yellow section here, we're talking really tall townhouses. I think I've described it as like the sort of place where you'll see like clotheslines with people's like vests hanging off like 3 stories up. Lots of like winding stairway alleyways and so on and so forth. This is called Old Town, and during the space of campaign 2, this will be pretty much a war zone between loads of warring gangs. Think gangs of New York, that everyone's kind of fighting over the same turf, and everything coming to a focal point in this kind of crossroads right in the middle. Next along is Dustry Hill. So this long winding path, this long winding road is a hill. So it winds down, and this place is where a lot of the manufactories were once are located. So this is a place where, like, once upon a time, 24 hours a day, people would be working. Potentially, arguably, their labour exploited by oppressive factory owners and the like, but all in the name of the war. But over the past 2 years, we'll see what's happened to all of those hands now that they are idle. This light blue section here, this is Waterside. The people of Waterside are a bit of an insular community, almost kind of trapped in their own kind of bubble. They like to keep themselves, from a social perspective, from a community perspective, they like to keep themselves to themselves. They kind of look out for each other. There's this real strong sense of togetherness and community. But these areas here, on the west side of the bridges, this is the waterside markets, which are some of the most kind of well-stocked and bustling marketplaces in Elysia. And now that Elysia finds itself a bit lost, that's still the case. This grey section here, so this is Saints Hollow. It's a prison. That's where the prison is. The prison, and then the offshoot slums. So this will be a slum area that kind of eventually becomes part of Rookridge. There's a bit of a vicious cycle for people that find themselves in Saints Hollow. Imprisonment, unfair treatment, terrible, crippling poverty, to crime, back to prison, rinse, repeat. Across the river from the prison are the gleaming towers of Spire Park. Obviously the centre of the city. Right in the middle here is where, like, the castle that is currently occupied by Marshal Algarve, who's effectively ruled the city for the past 2 years, thanks to the martial law that he enacted when everything went a little bit squiffy. But this is where a large park, now devoid of trees and vegetation, but still the thought counts. Big manor houses, white carriages on the street, that sort of thing. And last but not least, we got Abbott's Gate. So this is where, if we're talking London, this is effectively like Bank. So this is where all the government buildings and whatnot are. So it's all the suits, if you will. Yes. Carlsberg is let's see, it's this little nubbin outside the shield. There's a good supply of empty housing there if you want it. It's very airy. If the sound of me eating is making your brain turn inside out, let me know and I'll mute the mic. I'm very hungry though. This is becoming a thing, me eating dinner on stream. Right. Doo-doo-doo. Bam. So, interesting fact. Once upon a time, I sort of... I should make it a thing, yeah. Sit and eat. Just like dinner time viewing. You finish cooking dinner, you sit down. Oh, Explorers of Elsewhere are streaming. And you can just sit, eating, watching me eat. But yeah, I actually used Inkarnate for the... Well, I started using it for the map in campaign 1. Like the map that rolls out in the intro. And I didn't realise... I wonder if I can find it. Yeah, so for example, this tree, right? Oh, don't want to spin it. Make it a bit bigger. So this tree, boom, there's a tree. Lovely jobs. What I didn't realise is that, because I was doing this, I've got so much map to cover. And it was only when I got about halfway through I realised you can like increase the area and just put loads down in one go. Like, I'm so upset. So upset. What's that? Heraldry 5. Oh, nice. So how is everyone? How is everyone in the chat? How have you all been? You too, Sheldon. I haven't seen you in a while. How's the D&D campaign going? No. Let's make that the right size, shall we? Yeah, whatever cold is going around is not... It's not pleasant, is it? If we're quiet, we might actually hear Julia sneezing from downstairs. But yeah, hope you feel better soon, because it definitely sucks. Yeah. I suppose, like, is that a blessing or a curse to have a child who is basically a sickness magnet? Let's put this church here. Is it a church? Is it just a big building? Boom. We'll find out one day, maybe. Because you know they've been incubating, don't you? Like, you know that whatever germs your child has given you has passed between about 17 other kids who've just been like wiping their noses on each other. Oh, nice. Yeah, I know you were saying that you wanted to work on your voices, so I'm glad you got the opportunity. Nom 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 nom. What is this? Watermill. Ooh. There will be no watermills here. Maybe a... Okay, so the plan is... I might just put, like, odd random little buildings here and there. Just to give myself a bit of variety. Oh, let's go that way. No, let's go down here. Ooh. Ooh. Bleak. Oh, maybe. Oh. Maybe there. Bam. Then we can put a different one down. What are you? A fishery, eh? Archery range, watermill, temples. Maybe a couple of temples. Yeah, we you'll be thrilled to know. We had our first kind of game of like proper game together as a new group for campaign 2 last night. I want to say I think it was the second roll. Officially, it was almost like the first, because she rolled right before I managed to say what I was saying. But yeah, Meg got into a fight with the police. Got into a fight with the city guard. First roll of the game. Like double ones. No, it wasn't. It was just a just like a little test game. Just well, we have to figure out if we know how to play it. That's yeah, quite crucial. Interesting. Yeah, it was. It's wildly different to D&D. That's for sure. But like in a good way, in a really good way. What's going to be interesting is kind of figuring out like how to like frame it. Because D&D is quite like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay. Stop. There we go. Yeah, D&D is quite kind of linear in its storytelling, whereas Blades in the Dark just isn't. Yeah, absolutely right. Right. Where are my watchtowers? Oh, there we are. Yeah, we had we already had a couple of flashbacks, and like, you know, something that I learned, there was a part of me that thought that a flashback always came with like a cost of sorts. I kind of misremembered the rules. So when I found out that that wasn't the case, and in fact you can have like resource-free flashbacks, which is, you know, something that happened. Yeah, that was really cool. So for if it spoilers, yeah, if it, I mean, for those of you who are watching who like don't know what the ins and outs of Blades are, it's effectively like a fantasy heist game, a bit like Ocean's 11. Well, it's like Peaky Blinders playing D&D. I suspect it can get abused, yes. But basically, where you're kind of doing these missions, these heists, these jobs, you can spend a lot of time planning and prepping, and like we see that a little bit in the Shadowrun campaign that's on the channel. But the way Blades handles it is you kind of say, right, what is the job? You do a little bit of like information gathering to give you a couple of details, and then you basically say like, okay, how are we conducting ourselves in this mission? Are we going in, like, are we are we blowing the front door off its hinges? Are we sneaking in? Are we schmoozing our way in? And then, yeah, so that kind of sets the scene, and then you just jump straight into the action. And then whenever something happens that your players obviously don't know about, they can call a flashback and say, oh, so these guards have just come around the corner? Well, actually, I'm going to flash back to earlier today when I find out that this guard is on duty tonight, and I'm going to bribe him. And then you do your roles in the past, and then based off that you then flick back to the present, and then the present changes based on what happened in that flashback. Well, you say that, Carl. The other mechanic, resistance, is effective. Like, they should just rename it Know You. So, whenever I spell out a consequence of your actions, you know, and usually, if it's a bad one, you're able, as a player, to resist it. Like, resist the consequences. So yeah, basically you say, no, you like, oh, the guard doesn't come round the corner. Well, the guard doesn't come round the corner and spot us. I refuse this narrative. And then you go, okay, and then you do some rolls, and then because you've resisted it, the severity of the consequence gets reduced. So it might be, okay, so the guard has come around the corner, but they haven't spotted you yet. So it's just like, yeah, you can reduce how bad things go. Yeah, I mean, God, it literally is like that. So yeah, in this test run, they basically had to break into like a basement vault, and one of them rolled a complication, and I decided that the complication would be someone comes to investigate the sounds they're hearing, like underneath the floorboards. So, like, the door swings open, they hear footsteps coming down the stairs into this basement, and then one of them did a resist roll, like, no, I disagree with your narrative, and the thing is, like, you say you're going to resist, and then you pay the costs of resisting, whatever they may be, and then that's it, like, it's done. Like, the thing has been resisted, so the consequence of a guard comes down to check what that noise is, got reduced to, like, a guard opens the door, peers in, sees nothing, and then closes the door and leaves. So it's just like, the guard did look, but oh, balls, I keep doing this. Too far. Just think, not that long until the 2024 Gaming for Good charity drive. Jason Statham 3, baby. It's just me getting clusters. Yeah, I mean, we're 100% calling it Jason Statham's Big Damnation. That's going to be utter carnage. Where would we be in a world without what lo-fi, right? Doobie-doobie-doo. Thing is, right, I might actually have to watch The Beekeeper as, like, homework. I have to watch Meg 2 as well, yeah. I'd like to think that we are the first gaming group in history to have done a Jason Statham's Big Vacation campaign. I'm going to Essex, to see my parents quite soon. So maybe the Meg 2 is what I'll watch to see me through it. long building, yeah. Just imagine, right, if, because on those Gaming for Good drives, like, we've always got, like, people, well, we usually sometimes we have people that aren't normally on the channel, right? So, the Saturday, 4th, like, 3:30 or whatever time it is that we run it, the stream goes live. There's me, there's Carl, there's Tilda, and there's Julia. And then there's goddamn Jason Statham. I'm imagining that, I mean, you know, don't hold me to this, but I'm imagining the start of Jason Statham 3, Jason Statham's Big Damnation, is gonna look like the intro to Baldur's Gate 3. I don't like this one. Let's get Rose. Right. Oh, you know what? Let's just go ham. I feel like I'm being far too careful. Either, thinking about it, yeah, all of the player characters in Jason Statham are like literal devils, or they are the trapped souls of all of Jason Statham's kind of teams that have failed him in the past, and this is their one opportunity to try and escape the bowels of hell. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Rookridge was a lot easier to make. This has got loads of non-right. Look, it's just like right angles here. This is proving genuinely awkward. Both good ideas. Tilda, if during the campaign, when the map pops up, if you see me just like giggle to myself, you know that I've done something. Because it'll be a proper like like somewhere on the map there'll be a cluster of buildings that I deliberately made to look like a willy. You excited for Final Fantasy? This really is just a sit and talk, isn't it? You excited for Final Fantasy 14? Dawn Trail? Well, you know, come summer when it releases, Addy will be old enough to look after himself. I admit I'm looking forward to some like extreme painting. If you let your... Is he going to be like one soon? Frankie. Wah. Yeah, just get him to play Warrior. I mean, I think he would actually do a good job. Nom nom nom. What am I doing? What am I trying to do? Sod it. Yeah, instead of a plume on the top of the helmet, just make it like a feather duster. And then, when you like hold them up round the tummy, you can also get the cobwebs out the top corners of the ceiling. Right, let's go Chongus. I've neglected this top half. Donk. What do you mean he already hasn't? Have you actually got a Moogle outfit for your child? Incredible. don't know. I mean, maybe you have. Maybe you've sent a picture. I feel like a picture of a very small child in a Moogle outfit would sear into my memory, but boop. Just think, I've been doing this for weeks, and it's taken me this long to realise I could just have people watch me do it. I reckon a few more of these. Everything is content. Speaking of content, what did you lot make of Algernon? Because that would have come out this afternoon. Pardon me. Oh, is this going to be the Moogle picture that you've just sent me? Oh boy, here we go. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my. I don't think I can show it to the internet. Oh my god. Coo bloody po indeed. Bless. That's fair. Yeah. The meet the crew videos. They're going to be releasing every other day up until the release of campaign 2. Woo woo. Shall I start a Patreon purely for the picture of Addy in a Moogle suit? Yes, ISB is a bit of firing. Effectively, that's pretty much where the main inspiration for. So yeah, I mean, one of the factions is the EIC, the Elysian Intelligence Corps, that Algernon was originally part of once upon a time. Or the Foreign Service, as he refers to it. But yeah, that idea of like having just like abbreviated letters, just screams, you know, mystery. Meet the Pyro. Who's gonna be the Meet the Pyro? I reckon if I was putting money on it, I reckon it'll be Errol's character, Atta. The goblin spookomancer. Check that there. Check that there. Boom. Check that there. Ooh. Yeah, it'll be Atta. Atta that's got the Meet the Pyro vibes. Yeah, Meet the Pyro vibes. Maybe this should be. We should do, like, we should kind of put our own guesses in. Meg's character, the Bruiser Muscle Mummy. That's like Meet the Demo. Just loud, angry Scottish. I mean, Algernon kind of has to be Meet the Spy. Who else is there? Julia's character. Which Team Fortress 2 character is Julia's character? Maybe the sniper. There's a bit in the Meet the Sniper video where he's calling his mum. Which we know won't be happening. Well, maybe it will. So cryptic. We'll have to find out what on earth we mean when the first episodes come out. That's true. Yeah. Ooh, see how hard working I am? I'm already yawning. Yes, for reference, this stream's gonna last more than an hour. I'm gonna keep it running because the more of this I get done, the easier I can sleep. Much like Iron Guy at the end of the Avengers film, I will be able to rest. What is it with these? What is it with these weird bits? Okay. Then let's put this bit. Oh. Oh. There's a part of me that wonders if someone's just like randomly stumbled in and it's just like, what on earth? Oh. What on earth is happening here? Let's go back to the clusters. Tell you what, this might be the first Tavern Between Dimensions stream that has a tea break. Keep going. Ah. Right. Oh, can we? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've done it. We've done it. First Tavern stream that's had an in-stream tea break. Giving the people what they want. What's that? Well, okay, I suppose I did come back with dessert. Obviously in the EOE mug. Right. Let's crack on, shall we? Boo. Oh. Nom, nom, nom. These strawberries are cold. Let's go here. Drop that here. Drop that there. Put that there. So, some people may think this heinous, but sometimes I think, like, just slam buildings on top of each other. It's all gravy, baby. Mwah. How are these strawberries so cold in the middle? Oh. Boop. Booby dooby 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 doo. You know what? I still haven't finished the Explorers of Elsewhere one-page rule game. Check my phone. Yeah, go on then. How am I gonna do this? Oh, first off, fix that. There we go. Let's turn this off for a sec.
Hello? Don't I'm coming out the thing yet. So I can't. Oh! It is a call, yes. Thought I'd log on, keep Dan company while he's building this fantastic city. You know, keep myself, active with the community and whatnot.
Who are you talking to?
They would have said it's a call, so. Well, I can hear myself now, so I know I'm coming.
Okay, fab. Alright, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, all things considered. I'm, not been feeling the best, but, ergo why I didn't offer to come on earlier, but, kids asleep, got myself a cup of tea as well.
Yeah.
Thought I'd keep you company.
Oh, I see. You're using the Tavern Between Dimensions streams to put you to sleep, are you? Oh, I see. Like that is it.
That's why I helped design them in the first place, man. It was a way of getting myself to go to bed each night, Listen to you and Anton talk about rubbish and fall asleep.
Sheldon, you are absolutely correct. This is in fact just me practicing my ventriloquism.
It's damn good. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, hello, it's Carl.
Hi.
Yeah, so how's it feel to have been witness to the most thrilling YouTube stream in history?
I mean, it's still going, so that's a testament to how good it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got cat cam, like
We now have
that
cat cam.
point.
Yeah.
Instant win right there. I'm surprised this isn't being watched by more people now.
I've had to squish myself in order to get cat cam in.
As you should. Like, Daisy should be taking up the point, bro. I'm surprised that you haven't got her in the big window and you're in the small window right now. The fact you've squeezed her into the small window, shame. Shame.
If we're lucky, she might start snoring soon. And she's a proper like. Snorer.
Yeah, my one of my cats are like that. She always sort of sits behind me, and I keep thinking that I'm hearing someone else snoring around the house. But no, it's it's my cat. It's just loud. Yeah, I know, 100% correct. You're like, why isn't Daisy point of pride? Julia knows what it's about.
This what I feel like. What
You've been usurped.
Yeah, what this sounds like. What this sounds like. What you actually want. Is double Daisy Cam.
I mean, double Daisy Cam is good, but there's also too much of a good thing.
But what if?
I mean, if you mirror it, then it's a complete different image, and then we're we're golden.
Yeah, hold up. There we go.
Sheldon, you're pushing your luck there, man.
We've disturbed her. I would be really interested to see the statistics of like who decides to watch this through to the end after this gets published.
I mean, you have to put a bookmark into Cat Cam starts here and see that how many people jump to that point of the stream just to see the cat. Yeah, city's looking good. Like, obviously, I've seen it already, but I saw it before you put any buildings on it.
Yeah.
And I only saw the blank map a couple of days ago. Like, so you've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's chugging on. It's it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I think so. Like, the fact that obviously it's going to be, a point of pride on the, the episodes, I imagine. So yeah, it'll definitely be worth it because it will be the one thing that we'll see the most.
We hope.
We hope until either, by the sounds of it, Atta blows a hole in it, and then you have to completely redo the map, birdie map style, with exploded.
Yeah. Everyone wants an exploded map.
Everyone wants an exploded map. Yep.
I feel like I'm just gonna smash through. Let's do that.
That one.
Yeah.
You can also, you've seen you've got a couple pop up and you keep them the same size. You can shrink a few of them to fit into those little gaps.
Nah, but then the black lines aren't the same.
Yeah, good point.
And like, I think I would invert if the lines were different sizes. Where's this bad boy gonna go?
That was a good place for it. It's like Tetris, isn't it?
A little bit, and it's just like, what do I like tile over? What don't I tile over? Because I'm also trying to be like, this was actually really quick because like I could just go nuts and just slam buildings on top of each other to really get that kind of slum. Like, there's too many buildings here, look.
Yeah, like most slums are usually sort of stacked up on top. I mean,
Precisely.
Kowloon City is always a really good example for a slum that just went way too far.
Precisely. So, yeah, now I'm in a position where, like, I need to space them out a bit more, because this is
Slightly posher area, so
yeah,
a few gardens, maybe a few courtyards.
yeah, precisely. A couple of water's edge, canal edge houses.
I mean, how does like, I know this is probably going to be sort of brought up in campaign, but
Yeah.
how is there still water on the floating city there? Then?
That is 100% a world building question I had to ask myself.
Yeah. You know, is it kind of like Discworld where, you know, it's just sorted, or is there some sort of like, you know, aquifer under the city
Like-
and that's running out? Like, ticking clock at how long the water's left.
No, yeah, there was a part of me that was like, I could just say, like, wizards did it, as an answer to that question, but no, we managed to find a legit, like, in-world explanation, that was also quite kind of
Bless you, Julie, I heard that one.
Yeah, nicely kind of world building. So, 2 seconds. There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this obviously you've got the river, and it's a big river, right? I mean, if you consider that these are the buildings, the size of buildings, like it's a big, wide river. And then you've got the canals that run through the city that kind of cut off some of the.
And all the canals connect up to the industrial districts, don't they?
Well, the canals, because at one point they would have been used for transport, so the canals kind of feed outwards. Yeah, but yeah, some go through like either side of Dustry Hill. So yeah, there's a lot of water like in the city, but you're right. Why is it not just slorping out the side? So the in-world reason is when the water hits the barrier, it effectively evaporates. And then rises to the top of the sphere, and then recondenses and becomes rain. But because it's a constant thing and it's kind of relatively low level, it means that for the past 2 years, Elysia, it has been drizzling in Elysia.
Bad day to have your laundry out.
It is always drizzling. So yeah, that is that. So you know, the water, effectively, the water cycle is like, you know, the river. The water will touch the shield's edge. It will evaporate up. It will turn into drizzle. It will fall back down. Some people will have like drizzle rain catchers out, but obviously they'll get some water, but not lots. So we're in a, but I've had to think about it. Like, we know that there are, and well, I suppose I haven't said it properly, but like there will be a number of factions in play within the campaign, and I had to ask myself, like, what is it that's been keeping these kind of factions going all the time? Like, what are they providing to society to make them worth keeping around? So the people, I mean, they are effectively a faction. They provide the workforce. The guards, like the city guard, they provide the security. There's another faction that provides food, and then the last faction, which is the church, provides water, because they have access to magical methods of purifying water. So if you want extra, you've got to go to church.
What's the saying from Ron Swanson? There are 3 ways to motivate people: money, fear, and hunger.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, money's a bit of a weird one. Like,
I imagine
we were talking.
Commerce is a bit knackered.
Yeah, a little bit. So we were discussing this last night when we were doing our playtest, and I was saying, like, it's weird to say. It's weird to say it, but like, currency in my head, in a situation like this, currency has literally kind of reverted to what it originally was, as in like a bargaining tool, like an IOU chip in effect, right? Because the amount of wealth within the city is now like hard limited. Like there is only a finite amount of wealth, and there's no new wealth that can be generated, not really. Like the city won't support that. So
I imagine there's like a very active like alchemist guild trying to figure out like figuring out how to turn like anything into gold.
but the thing is, if you turn something into gold, then what do you do with it?
Oh right, yeah.
Right? So it's just like, I will give you, like, so effectively the transfer of coin from one person to another is in effect immaterial, because it's like, this coin does nothing for me, but the food that this coin will buy me does. So I say, like, having the coin is us in effect moot. It was in a sense, it really kind of drills down to basics what money is, and that is trading tender.
Yeah. I imagine in this case, the most important currency is, as you sort of said, food, water,
safety, and workforce, like work power. And coin is simply like, the token that you get handed to exchange one into the other. So,
there's someone around this city who's like, the moment Elysia bamps back into the real world, he's going to be like a guy who's hoarding Beanie Babies, hoarding all the money. And so like, it's all worth something.
Yeah.
They called me crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because, I say, it is a world where, arguably that's why a lot of people within Elysia would have turned to crime, which is obviously where we focus on for the campaign. But even crime, you can boil that back down to workforce.
Yeah,
I'm paying you for a service, and that service is frowned upon by some. Ooh, we're nearly done on this bit. Just don't remind me that I've got like another 7 districts to go. What way do I want this?
and also some of those outside districts as well.
Yeah, I've got to do everything outside the bubble. We've been calling it the bubble, but it's not actually called the bubble unless you're talking to Errol, in which case it's called the bubble.
Fair enough. Like,
Gone.
are you also sort of like taking into consideration things like landmarks and stuff? Or
Yes.
are they going to come later once you sort of got the main bulk of it down? Are you then going to go back over it, looking for landmarks or putting new buildings in to create landmarks?
So, the answer to your question is yes.
Vaunted.
But I need, I kind of want to make sure that the basic bits are down, and then, because I can just go in and grab something to remove it, right? So, for now.
Well, obviously you've still got your main point of like the gleaming spires sort of smack bang in the centre. So at least
Park,
so at least with some sort of like, if you think real world like navigation, people may use like the sight of the spires in the same way, using back from where we came from, Brighton and Hove, you keep the sea on one side of you and you always know where you're going.
Yeah.
It's not hard to get, or not easy to get lost in Brighton, because it's so easy to find your way around because you have that like technically a fixed landmark. Don't die. We need a campaign out of you first. Then you can die.
That'd be a way to end the stream, wouldn't it? Crikey. Where do I put this? Where do I put this tea?
Well, by the sounds of it, you put the tea down the wrong hole, which is why you started coughing in the first place.
There we go.
This is why it comes to this channel, the comedy gold.
Yeah, like... Okay, at least they look different. They do look different. So that's a start. Yeah, landmarks. There are... So... partially in honour of John Turner, who made Blades in the Dark, but also to kind of reduce my workload. We're going to be using a vast majority of the landmarks from Blades proper. But then... So yeah, I'll effectively just use those as my points of reference. But, like, for example, like these bridges in Waterside are notable. So I wouldn't have to visually do much else. Pardon me. Do much else with that. Don't know if I mentioned it earlier, and I mean, it's a big place. No one's gonna randomly find me. But I'm gonna be in London this weekend.
Oh, really?
Schmoozing with the other voice actors from Fallout London.
Oh, yes.
So that's gonna be fun. There will be larks.
I mean, London's a big place, so you don't have to worry about anything funny, but what part of London are you going to?
I assume Central. I need to actually have a look, because I am being a brave boy and I'm driving into London.
Oh, no.
I'm a brave boy.
That's not brave, that's foolish.
Oh yes. We're gonna put, yeah. Oh, single buildings, yeah.
Yeah, no one drives into London.
Well, yeah, because I'm carrying on to see my parents after.
Fair enough. You're mad, man.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's an all-day Saturday jolly.
Especially into Central. Oh my god.
Well, this is it. I mean, that said, for your stag do, I drove in and parked in near London Bridge.
Fair. That was a good day. You did, didn't you? Yeah, I remember what you parked now. Yeah.
So it's certainly doable. It's just I've got to be there for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Doobie doobie doo. Yeah, gonna go home for the weekend. Oh, let's put that there. Wait, if I tweak that a couple of degrees. Oh,
You tend to find as you're, a bit older now, like when you used to go to London as a kid, like
yeah,
the idea of quote unquote Central was this massive place, like Central. You got the underground everywhere because you just imagine Central was massive. And now as you've gotten older, actually Central London,
it's quite small.
It's actually quite small. Like obviously I work in Central, and at the end of the day, you can actually walk from, say, I don't know, Bank to Piccadilly in about half an hour, if that.
Yeah, it's just condensed, isn't it?
Yeah. It's vertical. I think there's a lot of it as well, and that's where a lot of it sort of like it comes from. But when you're like small, just I guess distance seems so short. Because I always just remember like going up from Brighton, going to Victoria, from Victoria to Green Park, and then Green Park onto Piccadilly, all through the underground. But because you never really were above ground, you never actually saw the distance, and it always just seemed, huge.
I know where you're coming from. But then again, I suppose everywhere shrinks.
Yeah,
Once
I
you,
mean,
once
it
you
doesn't
live
really
there for a
shrink. You just get bigger. In some cases, some of us like, you know, a little wider at the waist, but oh, I miss the days of my metabolism. But yeah, I get it. You know, as you grow older, you get bigger, and your concept of things shrink. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, it was always like the idea of London being huge, and I can imagine like Elysia seems probably like this massive place, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually just probably. Well, actually, looking at the sort of scale, this is probably about sort of central London.
Well, yeah.
You know, this is probably about central.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
a greater metropolitan area.
the scale of it was something that I was kind of very loosely keeping an eye on, just to kind of ask myself, like, yeah, how big is this place? Like, how big do these buildings have to be, kind of thing, for it to make sense.
And lore-wise, because we've got obviously added by myself, you have oh, I'm tired of my brain. It's just Hugelstadt, thank you. And then through Lane we had Glassmere. Are we assuming there Elysia is one of maybe the biggest cities on, or was one of the biggest cities on Elsewhere?
It's certainly big. Effectively, it was a big metropolitan city. If we're talking UK, I mean, maybe it was like we're talking like in a Manchester or Liverpool or like Birmingham, like big.
Yeah,
certainly bigger, like, you know, where we are in Bristol. Like Bristol's culturally known, but it's also quite small once you boil it down. Like Brighton is positively tiny in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Brighton's only big because it's absorbed other towns near it. So.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, so this is like a. Yeah, I would imagine it to be like a Birmingham or a Manchester or Liverpool, something like that.
Fair enough.
Like
and then places like Hugelstadt and Glassmere are more closer to those like Brightons and like.
I'd expect so. Yeah. We haven't really looked into like the capital cities, but also considering that, I guess, like thinking through it, we've only really been focusing on this one continent. Like elsewhere we'll have places further afield. Maybe that's what we'll look at in future campaigns.
Fun to see. This went away first though.
Yes. Yes. Okay. It's a bit finicky doing all these individuals, but we are nearly there. And then I can start the next section.
I mean, are you going to do one and then finally get some sleep, or are you going to like just burn through as many sectors as you can today?
Well, I realistically, so I don't mind admitting this to the internet, but yeah, part of the reason that I'm doing this stream is very entertaining to watch stream, is to effectively force myself to bloody finish it.
Having people hold you accountable.
Yeah. Well, just me publicly flagellating myself via Inkarnate. Yeah, just because. I just want to get it done, otherwise.
Fair enough.
Okay, I want to put a big fancy building there. Got some space up here again. Yeah, because talking about other places around elsewhere. Something that kind of dawned on me. I was musing about it with Julia. Because I think I might have mentioned. I mean, maybe I mentioned it on a old Tavern Between Dimensions once upon a time, but I always find the concept of language in D&D very kind of lackluster and a bit odd. Because it's like, it's so binary. Like, you either know, like, if in D&D you have Elvish written on your character sheet, then you know absolutely everything there is to know about Elvish language. It's just like, if I turned to you and said I know German, that's not true, because like I only know GCSE German.
Yeah.
So there's fundamentally like levels in language comprehension, so why isn't that looked into? So that was one kind of musing I had, but then I stopped and was like, if we look at D&D, for example, the Forgotten Realms specifically, you know, we can say that the Sword Coast is very Western Europe analogy, right?
Yeah. When I was actually discussing this the other day, what sort of like culture Ammon has, it was, you know, very much Spain.
Is Spain, and then Mullerand is like Egypt. So yeah, there's definite like real world parallels. If we look at, say, Karatur, which is in effect the Japan analogy of the Forgotten Realms, why does an elf in Karatur speak the same language as an elf in Neverwinter? Like, because they're elves? Like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I've realised now, and something I'll be kind of pushing into elsewhere, because I realise, in a sense, only the D&D like games do this, but I want to revert languages back to cultural phenomena. Like, you speak the languages you speak because that's what everyone speaks in your immediate vicinity.
Rather than being a sort of like, you speak it because you have pointy ears.
Yeah, precisely. Like, it just dawned on me that was like a really odd thing to have. Like, you know, so you might find that going through the city of Elysia, maybe there's a wolfkin that comes up to you and speaks the equivalent of Romanian.
Yeah.
Like you're one of the Eastern European languages, and you're like, and like Meg's character, who is also a wolfkin, would just be like, what? Rather than like, oh yeah, we look the same, so we both speak the same. Like,
as a sort of like flashback, and this shows me as such a nerd that I am. Back in the days of Neverwinter Nights, there was like people who did like persistent servers and stuff like for roleplay, and one that I was a part of, which was Forgotten Realms, the Silvery Marshes. Someone had programmed tokens that you could add to your inventory that gives you sort of like languages. So basically, sort of just, if you speak in a language, if you didn't have a corresponding token, it would jumble it up into like nonsense.
Yeah.
But if you had the corresponding language, it would then translate for you. They then went one step further for people who wanted to learn a language, and then they created different levels. So what would happen is, as you were typing, it replaced sort of every sort of few words, and then throw in and then carry on as English. And it was really kind of cool because it, as you sort of like used it more, like the DMs could give you the next level up, so that you slowly start speaking more and more of the language. But I think it was kind of good because it also made it that as a language, if you didn't speak that language, it would be nonsense to you, unlike round the table where you say, oh, he speaks Goblin, he says this, and everyone actually understands it, which makes your character understand Goblin technically moot, because as players, you now know everything, but as characters, you're not meant to. And I get it. Language is such an odd one, but it could be so fascinating when done right.
I feel like language should be a skill.
Yeah.
Should be an intelligence-based skill. Because, like, you know, I heard Julia learn Spanish for weeks and weeks and weeks, months. Months. But so she knew Spanish better than I did. But then one of our cat sitters, who is Spanish, came round, and Julia went to speak to cat sitter in Spanish, and there's a massive gap between someone who's learning a language for a couple of months versus a native speaker. But Julia was able to use her understanding to piece together what was being said, which for me sounds like a language check. You hear the occasional word, you can piece together roughly what they are saying.
That's fundamentally me in Hungarian as well. I to put it, my intelligence score is not high enough to learn Hungarian, but I've learned enough that I can understand what's being said, or I can get it from context a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thankfully, hopefully, my son will be bilingual. I'll have at least 2 people who can translate when we're over there. But he probably would at this point. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that. I'm not saying I'm unintelligent, but I don't have the right scores, so to speak, for learning a language.
Yeah.
And I get that, yeah. So as a skill check, yeah, I think that's actually genius.
Because I mean, the other thing that
wizards pay attention.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Pay me.
Pay us, bro.
Because I mean, what that also does is opens up intelligence-based social activity.
Yeah.
You may be the most charismatic bard, but if only the wizard can figure out what is being said by the tribal leaders.
Yeah.
And realistically, Dungeons & Dragons, very specifically Dungeons & Dragons, needs more importance on intelligence outside of being a wizard.
Yeah, and a lot of just intelligence is just you're book smart. That's fundamentally what it's been boiled down to is, intelligence are the people who wear glasses. Charisma are the better,
Yeah. So, yeah, welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But yeah, so it's going to be a thing.
$20 for this.
So yeah, that's going to be my new thing. So going forward, it's going to be a case of you don't speak a language based off your lineage. You tell me what the language of where you grew up sounds like.
Yeah.
Are you local or not? Because if you're local, then we can imagine that is common. That's a language that everyone speaks.
Elysian common.
Yeah. But
also I hate the term common usually for languages, but then again I hate trade language or king's tongue or
yeah. You know what? I reckon Haveney and Dusklin is done.
I think it looks good. It looks even better zoomed out, just the sort of density.
Yeah. So you can see the roads. Maybe.
No, you can see the roads. You can see the roads.
Yeah. I'm just gonna.
I don't know why I pointed at the screen. You can't see me touch it.
That one. You can see that one right there.
Yeah, not going to have any effect on.
Okay, tell you what.
Do you have actually? Do you have market stalls or something? Maybe just put an impromptu little market in that little space. Again, why am I making gestures with my hands? You cannot see me.
Then I must do. He says.
Yeah, because that's the other thing as well. I imagine sort of small little markets or meeting areas or common areas would form in gaps and imagine if the population was still growing. Yeah, they'd try and shove more housing into it, but also during sort of the downtime, they'd probably want to fill the spaces with other things storage or even sort of maybe tents for I guess that wouldn't be homeless because there's so many houses now abandoned, but yeah, marketplaces and things like stalls or benches or
I mean that, yeah, I mean, I definitely need. What is that? Griffin Rider Den.
Places to do dodgy dealings.
Yeah, I mean, the map is sort of representative rather than
fair.
thingy thing.
Yeah.
What is that? A bizarre rocks. Okay.
Doing what I do and throwing out suggestions.
Barns. Sod it. Let's put a barn there.
You need to put that in the noble sector. Put a couple of them there.
Yeah, I'll do that bit. I'll do that.
Guess that went over everyone's head.
What do I want to do next? Let's change it up. Let's go. 2 secs. 2 hour stream. Woo woo. Here's the thing. Not only am I prepping a Blades in the Dark campaign, I'm also organising a Toy Soldier tournament and painting an army of toy soldiers, all for the roughly the same deadlines.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I can't remember where I put my tiny violin. It's impressive. The workload you've got at the moment, you're still sort of finding time for like social aspects and everything is good. Because obviously once, when, and I do say when because hopefully people still subscribe in quantities eventually.
Well, we just need one more and then we hit 300.
Oh my god, how much is that annoying you?
Oh.
How much is that annoying you? Because it's annoying me, and I have a vested interest, but I don't have as much of a vested interest as you. I even said to Till the other day, it's like, this must be killing Dan. Like, must be stuck at that number.
Yeah, it's yes. It is yes.
It's the reason why you don't really want to go to sleep, because that number is haunting your nightmares. Close your eyes.
It's been lurking. It's been lurking on 299 for absolutely ages.
Yeah, we lost a couple, then we gained a couple, and it just hasn't budged past.
It's just bobbed up and down. Yeah, it will happen.
It will, yeah. And the point I was going to make is obviously, like, as long as you're finding a good balance for it now, once, when it starts picking up and obviously requires more content, if you have that balance down, it should be good.
Well, theoretically, once this all kicks off, it should be a lot easier. I mean, doing the amount of work that I know I do for the start of a campaign, I'm currently a bit overloaded. I say a bit.
But then you're also having to, like, it's still technically in the realms of hobby at the moment rather than sort of like job, even though.
Sorry, 2 secs.
Sorry for the noise.
Yes. I mean, it's the sort of thing where I kind of promise myself I will do a lot of work that I only have to do once.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan. But also, trying to do a good job on this, because I feel this map, once it's done, may appear in the intro video, like the title screens. That'd be nice. What do I want? Do I want medium yellow? Oh, these are literally singles. What is this place? This is Old Town. So this is like 3-story tall buildings all interlaced.
It'd be sort of like they're not really thinking about space size buildings.
Yeah, so really I do need to have
Well, I guess that's the way to sort of think about it. You know, at least for me when I'm sort of designing cities, is how was it founded and what was like the first sort of districts spread out and how they spread out, because those ones would be. Because I imagine the river would be where the first buildings were built, and those ones would usually be bigger if they weren't like knocked down and replaced. Because obviously that's where all the trade, where all the sort of the main sort of source of food would be, and then it's how do the roads spread out and why they spread out.
Yeah. Oh, we need some inns.
Oh my god, you need like so many inns. Like, you know, should be an inn on every corner. Be able to navigate the city by the inns.
Okay, so we put an inn there. Put an inn there. How many? Oh, I've got 2 inns of this variety. Okay, what else looks like an inn? That's a church. That's Baba Yaga's hut. Oh, I'm looking at the Gothic. Okay. Is there a special buildings? Here we are. Alchemist, brewery, carpenter, fishery. Yeah, there is so much.
Yeah, it grew since I used it last. I mean, I think when I was using it, I don't think I still have any of the sort of stuffs that are around, but you couldn't really build a city map. I mean, the best I was able to do was build almost like a tourist brochure,
Sure.
with the buildings they had at the time. So it was quote unquote the city and the landmarks, but it wasn't as detailed as this map. I know a lot of the city building stuff came later.
Okay.
At least after I'd stopped using it for, because I had no need for it anymore.
Yeah.
Do I still have?
So I reckon we chuck in a couple of the big buildings. Who's still with us?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I've not been reading the chat.
No, I'll be honest, nothing's really been happening in the chat.
Only 5 more hours.
Oh, hang on.
I don't know how long ago you said that, Sheldon, but if I'm still up doing this map in 5 hours' time, someone's going to be very upset with me.
Sending something in the Discord chat, Dan. Hopefully it won't pop up on screen, but you can show it on screen if you want to. This was my original map for my D&D campaign that I made with Inkarnate. Obviously it's the unnumbered one, so this was just like the one, but yeah, this is what I was this is all I was really able to do back in the day.
Where have you sent it?
Discord, private chat to you. Plug up and stream if you like. I don't think the old players will really mind or are watching. And when the cats are awake, you know, all the
Daisy is stirring.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the isometric look.
Yeah, that's all you were able to really do at the time. But yeah, it was.
Safe. Oh my god. If Inkarnate had crashed.
Oh god, that would be. Oh, that would have been. I would not have felt good. Not have felt good about that.
We're good. We're good. We're safe.
Good. Oh.
Stay. Oh. Yeah, she's back asleep. Oh, to be a cat. What are you? Eventually, I've done that. What are you? Big Merchants Guild. It's not archery. Oh, it literally is an archery range. You know what? I think we're good. We can just smash a load of buildings in now. Okay. Although I do need some overlap. So what games are you looking at jumping into?
Well, at the moment, I'm trying to finish Jedi Survivor because I started it shortly after my son was born, and then quickly realised I didn't have time.
Sure.
So I've picked that up again, and I'm intending to finish that at least before the end of February, because that's obviously when Rebirth comes out. And being the mega colossal Final Fantasy VII fan that I am, you know, I will play that with him on my lap if I have to. I won't. I am a good parent, but you know, I want him to also be a Final Fantasy fan.
Sure.
I know Tilda is listening to this, and she is probably judging me not as hard as you may think. No, she's probably judging me hard.
So, from at the risk of, I'm going to say at the risk of spoilers, thing is, I have Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I just never finished it.
Remake? I know there's a lot of people who really didn't like some of the stuff that happened in Remake. I get it, because I think the developers were a little bit cheeky and not being completely honest what it was.
They said it was a...
And it is a remake, but it also isn't a remake. I mean, it's been out long enough that I think spoilers isn't really something we should be that worried about.
I mean, the trailers are out. Like
a sequel, technically. It's technically a sequel, but you know, almost. It, as much as I kind of hate it, it's almost like multiverse in a sense. And I think the next one will go more hard into that, which I've made my peace with, because I would, much like everyone else, I really kind of didn't like the last act all that much, but the more time has gone on, the more I'm just happy to be in the world of Gaia again, and seeing it as beautiful as it is. Like some of the pictures they've released recently, back in the original, they released these old CGI images of all the characters, and I remember when I was like 12, 13, I loved those images. Those images were like so amazing at the time. They've decided to redo them, and they trigger the same amount of awe that those original images did. So seeing how amazing it looks now, I just, regardless of how many plot ghosts they throw into it, I'm still going to enjoy that game because it's still Final Fantasy VII, and that it's not my favorite Final Fantasy because that's 9, and I think I've said that on previous taverns. But 7 is still time travel, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. That is exactly it. Like me and our sort of like our friend group here, we just call them the plot ghosts because that's what they are. They are the plot ghosts. But 7 is a very, very close second, and just to be Cloud Strife, you know, just to see, you know, Kate Shee as like this fully realized, and I love the fact they've kept the Scottish accent on him from Advent Children, because you know, Kate Shee is a Scottish myth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I'm gushing a bit here, but I love 7, and I can't wait to get back into that world.
Well, as a little aside while we're on the topic of Final Fantasy, like going back to 14 for a moment, there is expectation that Dawn Trail will be heavily Final Fantasy 9 influenced.
Oh, don't say stuff like that, man.
Because like 9 is one of the games that hasn't really had much of a look in Final Fantasy 14. Like it's not really been plundered all that much.
No. There was that one particular set of missions where you join that thieves guild on the airship, don't you? That's sort of 9ish inspired. I think they're even Tantalus.
There was no. There's a segment in Stormblood where it's all airship based and it's a travelling troupe of actors, but that is 12. It's literally 12. Like, the characters from 12 turn up.
Oh right. Yeah, 9.
The reason why there is these suspicions, excuse me, the new like final city hub place is called Solution 9,
Yeah, I've seen the images.
which is
Which
also
is
Zidane's.
yes, one of his
Lunaprex.
yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't limits in that, weren't they? They
Trance.
were trances, yeah.
Yeah.
Although there's still like the talk that they may be thinking about doing a 9 remake, hopefully with less plot ghosts. But there's
But we've
also
got that
the 9.
TV show coming soon. So.
There's also the TV show, which, if you look at the studio making it, that's a slight cause of concern for me. But still, again, it'd be interesting to hear, Zidane's voice, like hearing what Vivi sounds like.
I reckon Zidane sounds like Link from the original Legend of Zelda cartoon.
You know what they need to do though, Dan? Like, and we need to push this hard. Like, get me to play Steiner. I mean, we just send them
All of campaign 1.
year 1, all of campaign 1, and say, look, this guy's clearly ripping off Steiner. He should voice him. You've managed to get to Fallout. You've got Fallout London going for you. Get this.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Let's get together. Let's get me as the voice of Steiner in the Final Fantasy VII
It's
remake.
perfect. What a perfect plan.
Can't see anyone disliking that at all. Weird choice. They got this absolutely nobody to voice like Albert Steiner.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Also, it's going to be fun to in Final Fantasy 14 to paint people to death.
Yes, that's a choice.
You know what?
I'm not against it.
I'm here
I'm
for
not
it.
against it. I think it's a great
I might play it. I might play that class. I may. Like, here's the thing. Like, I know sometimes I rib on D&D.
No.
Sometimes, on occasion, I rib on D&D, but that's only because I know it so well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they revealed the Pictomancer as the new Final Fantasy class, I immediately was just like, how would I build this in D&D?
You're straight away on like.
I mean, I figured it out.
To...
Yeah, I figured it. It's a College of Creation bard.
Of course it is, yeah.
And because if you supplement.
Welcome to BYOB on Tavern Between
Yeah, right. So yeah, rather than like music creating, your art is visual rather than audible.
Yeah, no, I see that, and I think that's.
I mean,
yeah,
tracks.
Yeah, tracks.
This way.
Yeah, I do miss 14. I mean, for obvious reasons, like I can't play MMOs,
Sure.
But I do miss it. Of all the MMOs I've played, like someone actually the other day was like, "Yo, do you see that City of Heroes has been re-released?" And I love City of Heroes, but I just again don't have time to get back into them. And obviously it's a game that's 15, 20 years old. I ain't playing well. But Final 14, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic game, and I enjoyed every moment I played it. I do miss it, but I also kind of don't, because it eats so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm trying to play through bits of 14 here and there because please do not crash.
I think maybe you might want to just close and refresh your browser if it's been open a while. I mean, it's probably built up a lot of gumph in the background.
Yeah.
Give it a close, run sea cleaner, all that, like, you know.
Yeah, there's a part of me was like, I really want to kind of catch up to, because like the final patch before the new 14 expansion is now released. So there's a part of me was like, you know, I want to play catch up. But even kind of playing it in small bite-sized chunks, I'm finding difficult because, like, I mean, it's a first world problem, right? Don't get me wrong, but I'm in a position where it's just like there are so many things that I think to myself that I should be doing. Like, for example, like absolute baseline, playing Baldur's Gate 3, like actually playing BG3.
The fact you managed to turn it into content, I think, was a sublime move.
Yes, I mean, and that's really the one reason why I was able to play like any of it to begin with. But yeah, actually just kind of like going through and doing my own solo run. Because yeah, like Julia's wrapped up her third run now.
Wow.
So I feel like I really need to hurry up.
Like, you know, I obviously haven't played it yet, but is each run different enough that you can have multiple runs?
I reckon from what I've heard, yes.
Because I imagine there's quite clearly the good, evil, and neutral route, and then
it's not like I was laughing and being like, could you imagine if Baldur's Gate 3 concludes like Mass Effect 3? Where like all of these choices, all of these choices that you've painstakingly made over the course of 3 games is boiled down to red or blue, and then after loads of furore, or green. Like, yeah, could you even imagine? But no, it's
true.
Different. Yeah. So there's loads of different modes, as Julia's just pointed out. But
so like, does it? So Julia, it changes quite dramatically with each class and race.
I mean, there's quite a lot of like class specific, like conversation trees, for example.
Yeah.
From what I gather, like playing Bard, just completely different ball game. Even down to, I mean, you can do like good, evil, neutral, like in inverted commas, but it's almost, from what I've seen, doesn't even really look at that. It's more a case of like every time you do a run through, the list of consequences of your actions and sort of like outcomes of conversations and like what happens to your companions and like the butterfly effects of everything that kind of branches off of stuff that's happened. Like, there are loads of things that are happening. Like, well, until recently, I was seeing articles that was like people were discovering things in Act 3 that they didn't know were a thing, but it was triggering off stuff that happened in Act 1. Like stuff seemingly innocuous.
So sorry, Chili, you've brought up Dark Urge. I've heard that mentioned a couple of times. Is that spoiler territory, or is like what is Dark Urge?
I'll let Julia answer. Like, when you know, you kind of go, okay.
Is there much of the previous Baldur's Gates in there? Because I know Minsk is in there because he's voiced by Matt Mercer.
Minsk and Jaheira.
Oh, Jaheira.
Yeah, Jaheira's in it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think, Julia, you have successfully skirted the spoilers.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like you can play. So, you know, when the co-op was a standard run, my solo is a standard run, but in a way, you could almost look at Dark Urge as like New Game Plus.
Okay.
But not on a difficulty level per se, because like that's completely different. But like, yeah, there's a different set of circumstances when you play as Dark Urge. Like the token Dark Urge is the white Dragonborn, which is probably what you've seen in pictures. But that it is an origin, so you can have your own character as the Dark Urge.
I thought it was like a character. That's why again I'm seeing the white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yes. In a standard playthrough, you are a Baldarian. You got snatched up by a Nautiloid. You got tadpoled, and you've got to stop the baddies and make it back to Baldur's Gate. That's fundamentally the gist of main story.
Stop the baddies, make it back to Baldur's Gate, and bang everyone along the way.
Well, yeah. Like I'm very, very, very much paraphrasing. There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as
I mean,
said,
watching the streams, like
yeah, for sure. Julia's absolutely right, saying Dark Urge has an amnesia plotline that, just reverberates throughout the whole campaign.
nice. It's nice. It's nice that it's as detailed and as like. Because when we were just talking about sort of different races and classes, I remembered back in Baldur's Gate 2 that I think it was each two classes were like paired up, and each of those pairings basically ended up with like a guild. So if you were like the rogue or the bard, you could end up running the thieves guild. If you were the fighter or the cleric, you could get the keep. If you were the so forth and so forth, you could get like. And I remember those were quite big gameplay and story changing events that you had to really take care of until you got thrown into the Underdark, and then constantly be messaged like your thing is having problems, you should really attend. It's like, I can't, I'm in the Underdark. But yeah, and I just remember those Baldur's Gate 2, like the amount of choices and things that could change. So it's nice to see the Baldur's Gate 3 is sort of like
building on that.
Yeah.
It is definitively like a 100-hour plus game, without breaking a sweat.
And that's what you want. That's what you want from a game. Like, and I think it's like, you want a game that's going to keep you engaged for a long time. And by the sounds of it, if you can have all these multiple playthroughs, they've cracked it.
I think it is good that they went, here's the standard player experience, and now you can play through it all again, and we ourselves will bake in, like, there'll be a few things different, and then that will just ripple through your entire game, and then just massively change everything that happens. And that's dark. Like Sven, I think his name's Sven, just like straight up said, "Oh, how long has that been like that?" Like play through normal first, and then play Dark Urge.
Nice.
Like two different gaming experiences. Yeah, really, really, really classy.
Wow. I'm sure at some point in like 2027 I'll get a chance to play it.
If you're lucky.
Maybe send him off to stay with his grandparent for like a couple of evenings, and like me and Tilda can multiplayer our way through it. Take time off work, send the kid away. Go.
Well, I in a way, like multiplayer in itself is just like a third way to play, and like if
you guys look like you were having a lot of fun.
We were having a lot of fun. Having started playing it on my own, I've gone, oh, there was loads of storyline here. Like, yeah, it is the, like, multiplayer is the, like, oh, let's just be murder hobos, let's just, like, let's be the horror D&D group.
You mean let's be a standard D&D group?
Let's be a standard D&D group. Yeah, like.
And then single player is let's be the D&D group we all wish we could really be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd say like I've been the few bits I've been able to do on my own, and I've just been like, oh, there's all of these NPCs, and like Girth didn't speak to any of them. Like Girth didn't even know they existed.
Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, I think also it's fun to find out how other people's runs have gone. So Jake, who was a part of the stream, I know that he and Julia were talking about his run, like a run he was doing, and bless him, Jake is a fighter, not a lover. And I don't know everything about what's happening, but even I was sat like listening to what he was doing and like the questions he was asking, and be like, "What is this man? What has this man done? Like, what? Oh my god!"
You think you know someone, and then they play Baldur's Gate 3.
Right? Yeah. Although he's now doing a Oops All Druids run. I think he just called them the Wolf Pack. Like,
It's kind of also like you think you know someone, and you find out they play RimWorld, and then you're like, oh.
what's that? I should play RimWorld on stream.
Oh my god, I don't think you can do multiplayer of RimWorld, but I would have joined you in a heartbeat.
Oh, maybe I should join everyone else and play Pal World.
you Pokemon? No, I shouldn't get into all that lot.
What, Pokemon meets Call of Duty?
Yeah. I've seen it popping up everywhere. I don't want to it's been said 100 times. I'm not adding anything to the conversation.
I guess
I have been thinking of what would be good to stream, like that again that hasn't been done to death by everyone else.
Yeah. It's. I have been wondering, what can I chuck on things like Tavern, at the risk of turning Tavern into a gaming stream.
Well, Tavern was basically nerds natter nonsense, and games just being played for fun is just a perfect form to just sit there and have a good natter.
Yeah. I definitely know the Wildermyth's gonna make a comeback at some point.
Oh, that was fun to watch. Like again, how quickly it went from went from Disney to freaking Endgame.
Yeah. Oh, Sheldon, I didn't see the message.
Suddenly realised that Endgame is Disney, and I meant Disney like Princess Day to Endgame.
Yeah, what the horror stories spun by Julia's character's mum.
I mean, that was amazing.
Just out of the blue as well.
Yeah.
Completely out of nowhere.
Crisis of Infinite Girth. Oh no.
Yes, Sheldon, yes!
What have you done?
Oops, all girth.
What have you done?
So, well, because that kind of series has been put to bed for a little while, I'm happy to say it. Like, one of the ideas I was desperately trying to convince the others to get in on was a, Oops All Barbarians or, Oops All Bards. And it would have been, we are a rock band on tour. And, but the tour bus has just been, hijacked by mind flayers. And now... Yeah, so
our tour bus was a Nautilid.
Yeah. But we all had to start barb, but we could multi-class out. But then someone the drummer would multi-class into barbarian, and basically just do a big themed run. But yeah, I have seen a Oops All Barbarians video series on YouTube, and a lot of it didn't really mean much to me, because I hadn't really played much at that point. But seeing the look of abject horror on Julia's face,
Also, one thing, I'm a little bit sad about something, and I've only just really noticed
Go
it.
on.
Like, you have a title, the cat has a title, Lofi Girl has a title. Where's my fucking like also on stream Carl? In a little hurt. It's the little things, man. The little things. I imagine now you're gonna make this the smallest one possible. It's just gonna be hidden up in a corner somewhere.
Sure, let's do that.
Oh, that's a data reference.
There you go. Hang on. Oh.
My tummy has the rumblies that only hands can satisfy.
And Carl. You know what? Oops, all girth.
Oops, all girth is
Would
genius as much as
100%.
it's horrifying.
100% get me back on that bandwagon immediately. Like, I still die a little inside when how much of the stream did you watch? And I won't be offended if you said not all of it.
Most of it. I think there's only the last one. I just haven't had time to watch. But I watched it all.
Okay, fine.
I did my part. I'm part of the. I'm an EOE, man.
In which case, the dream sequence, Girth's dream daddy. Like, it was one of those things where, like, I thought, oh, wouldn't it, I can't remember, I knew when I was creating that character, I'd read somewhere, oh, make sure that whoever you make as your mentor, like, you find attractive. I just remembered at that point being like, what? And so it was that kind of memory that made me think, I know what I'll do. But I had no idea how that would, like, come to be. But yeah, oh my god. I know your voice. No shit, Sherlock.
The one moment that still sort of gets me of just like watching you lose your shit is when Volo decides to enucleate you and poke your eye out.
Oh, I had no idea what was happening, because like I think it was Lane that was just like, oh, you should go talk to Volo. I was like, oh my god, okay, fine, I will talk to that charlatan. And then yeah, when I noticed that they were all kind of like, waiting for me to go through the options, I was like, oh, something is happening and I care not for it. But duty demands that I carry on.
Yeah. It was just watching you slowly like, no.
So that made me feel so squeamish.
I'm not a fan of like stuff happening to eyes much in the best of times, and watching that was like
yeah, there was a part where it was like, in a way, thank God that Girth's eye colour was similar to the eye that Volo gave me.
Yeah. The thing that I love is just like the way the dialogue options were slowly just becoming more and more.
They were just letters, weren't they? Yeah, it's good. It's good larks.
It's fun. It was a fun game to watch, and I'm sure it was even more fun game to play.
Oh, Old Town. You are beating me. Let's go for angled blocks for a while. Let's try and fit squeezies in. Oh. Son of a... No, this way. Boop. Boop. Oh.
Who's the unless it's a spoiler? Who's the next meet the team that comes out?
Well, I have one in the can, ready to go. But I'm actually angling to see if I can get someone else's recorded beforehand. But yeah, whoever it is, I won't say who it is, just in case I change my mind.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, that'll be coming out on Thursday. Should be interesting. But yeah, after that, not this Sunday, but Sunday after, theoretically should be. Oh, hang on, it's changed both the names.
Didn't want to mention anything
Oh,
because I'm on there twice now. Yeah.
oh.
I wanted just one, and I got two instead. I'm feeling good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we are about just over a week and a half. Oh, we did the wrong way round. Just over a week and a half away from episode 1 airing.
Nice.
And yeah, it's interesting. It's just because it's just such a different game. With year 1, I kind of knew what was going down at any given point, right? It's D&D. I've run enough D&D to kind of know how things go. I got Scoobies for this one. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
I think so. I hope so. I very, very much hope so. Yeah,
but as long as you can keep the twists and turns and the intrigue. Yeah, I think you'll have a good story in your head.
Yeah, we'll.
And again, given the sort of format you're doing of 20 episodes.
It'll be 20 episodes,
Yeah.
but released in half parts.
Yeah, what I mean by that is it means you don't have to worry about it getting too stale.
For sure.
You can keep the stories, the intrigue as tight as possible because you have X amount of episodes to do it, and I guess that works very strongly in your benefit.
It is quite handy, yeah. It because it's enforcing that kind of time frame. No, that you're right, that is handy. But yeah, we will see. It's just to say, yeah, because it operates so different to standard D&D. But I'm hoping, yeah, as I say, we've done a test run. We're coaxing ourselves into it. Should be good. I want this to look like the Victorian London segment. So how would I go about doing that?
A lot of smog, so you can't see it.
True.
Just clouds.
Yeah. 35, yeah. Bam.
Just like this is probably I say it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. It's probably dry as like painting a wall to everyone else. It's like some of the stuff that Victoria's actually ended up doing. I managed to like there's a underground station in London where there's like this block that sort of runs over your head, and that block basically contains one of like London's rivers. And they redirected the river, like caused it to flow down through this underground station, then pump it back up and through the sewers again.
Oh wow.
It was like insane.
Um.
Again, interesting to me. Everyone's just gone, oh god, I'm trying to check out of this stream.
Well, something that kind of caught me off guard. So the two of us watched. It's a Netflix show called Bodies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but the premise is like a number of police officers at different various points of time. So the 1890s, like Victorian London, World War II London, so late 40s.
Yep.
Well, mid 40s. Modern day, yeah, so like 2023. Basically, these three police officers are just kind of doing their day jobs, and then this like dead body material like falls out of the sky in effect, and is found in this lane, this like back alley. But the same body appears at all three timelines, like all three times.
Oh, cool.
Time frames, and like the police officers that find this body then kind of get embroiled in the mystery of this body. But it was the realization that someone that was born in Victorian London would could well be alive during World War II. And like in my head, Victorian London is like super long ago. But if you were born in Victorian London in the 1890s, you could well be alive in the 1940s. Like that just obviously it just straight up makes sense. But like cognitively,
dysentery didn't get you first.
Well, yeah. Like cognitively, you're just like, what?
Yeah, no, yeah. I guess so.
Right? It's a bit. It's mad. It's madness.
Yeah, it'd have to be sort of like late Victorian, but yeah, it would. Because yeah, yeah.
Like yeah.
I'm just scraping my brains off the back of the wall there.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Because there's also that. I've seen it chucked around online a couple of times, and it's basically kind of arguing for these weird and wonderful D&D parties, but it spells out that like you could have, like in the real world, like in our history, you could have like an Elizabethan gentleman, a pirate of the high seas, something else, all in the same room. It's just, and again, your brain kind of thinks, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, like that took place ages and ages ago, and it's worlds away from penny farthings and industrializing London. But no, it's the same time.
Yeah, it was Victorian London. So it was like, America was going through its colonizational period.
Yeah.
And as such, obviously, it seems more old world because they were, literally building a country.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my, one of my favourite pirates is always the gentleman pirate. I know they made that TV show out of him, but basically he was like a lord from London who kind of sat there and was like, nah, I want to be a pirate. And just went off and was like, hally-ho!
Okay.
Sorry, just
getting
didn't
that.
really ever think about it because you really do think of them as some sort of times apart. But
Mm.
I mean, the First World War was what 14 years,
So,
13 years after her death.
yeah.
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 I mean, again, let's face it. I mean, their life expectancy wasn't great, but
No.
fundamentally, if you were born very close to the end of the Victorian era, you'd be about 40 years old, which would already put you in by that sort of standards as geriatrics, I imagine. Fundamentally, didn't really think about that.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And like, all of the progress with which we advance as a society only gets quicker and quicker.
Leaps and bounds.
Does it hurt your heart to realise, like, when you think about the kids, the youths,
The youths of today.
you might think of Gen Z, but in actual fact, it's now Gen Alpha who are becoming teenagers.
Yeah, no, that one doesn't bother me so much. Like, because I've got like nephews and nieces that are sort of like not quite the age group, but they're obviously going through everything. So, but for me, it's like amazing to think that the amount of like change, so I say my grandparents saw, and how much change that technically we've seen in our sort of like us millennials. Like, obviously we're the dial-up generation. We saw like the internet, the rise of social media, like, and now we're seeing the death of social media. We've the rise of AI and stuff like that. Not the rise of AI. We haven't quite got like Terminator yet, but we've seen so many leaps and bounds already, and I'm just imagining what my kid's the tech and everything that they're gonna see come out. And
well, it's the idea, Gen Alpha, for example, is the first, officially the first fully digital generation. Like,
all I need to do now is figure out how to like make fusion power stable, and
then we're sorted.
And we're golden then.
Nothing can go wrong with this plan.
But I mean, it does. I mean, it's all still sort of theoretical and kind of utopian. But the idea that obviously if fusion power is perfected, that does solve quite a few problems, because it is a power source that puts out way more than gets put into it. Like, fundamentally, it would mean cheaper electricity. I mean, it's still owned by corporations, and we see where that's going. But it fundamentally could mean, if they perfect it, cheaper power, more power, which means suddenly there's more power to do things, which, like, even if you look at computing, like, a lot of limitations of computing is down to power. Which is why you have, like, bit miners with like huge power farms.
Yeah, true.
I've got off topic.
Yeah, time for bed, Grandpa. That's
You're on your way.
And
I'm not 40 yet.
I'm very thankful that we still have 5 viewers.
Yeah. I mean, one of them is me.
The one of them is me. Another one is Daisy. Oh.
Yep. Sheldon. I imagine you're still here, Sheldon.
Hello. Oh, what's up? Oh, the cat has an emergency. An emergency clean. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Huh?
She's got that, what year is it, look about her. Okay. Well, this might be the death of Cat Cam.
That might be death of the stream. Without Cat Cam, what are we even doing?
Yeah. Why are we here? If only to suffer.
Sheldon, you are a trooper.
Yeah, I might, to be fair, I might officially wrap at...
Well, it is a school night.
It is a school. Well, I'm still be going, but I might wrap the stream at 3 hours.
Fair enough.
These buildings ain't gonna place themselves.
If a few more years, then it might.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean that's not fascinating. That's fascinating to you, Carl, but it's not fascinating to the audience.
Then go on.
Because I've been seeing it pop up a lot, but something called Nightshade, like supposedly like the anti AI like stuff that people.
Yes.
Yeah, basically you put your image through like this rendering software, and it basically puts a corrupt image on your image, and when AI picks it up, or AI image things picks it up, it corrupts the AI file, so it basically just churns out noise rather than a thing. And yeah, the Tavern Between Dimensions After Dark. We threw the idea of After Dark Tavern around a while, but you know, neither me or Dan are that sexy to pull it off.
Yeah, we were. That was genuinely one of the Tavern name ideas. Tavern After Dark.
Yeah. They call it like it's the poison pill, and it reminds me of like the old CRM arms race with like game piracy.
Yeah.
And how obviously companies were trying to work harder than the pirates were to fix their games. Obviously the whole CRO thing was an absolute debacle.
Yeah.
But you know, it kind of just reminds me of that, this technological arms race. Like you have people now creating AI images, but again using like, again, don't want to be too sort of controversial because I know it's a sore topic for a lot of people, but you know, technically skimming images from elsewhere, not asking for permission to do so.
I mean, arguably, it's not technically.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's basically it's a sketchy practice a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like there are people who do it in the right way, where they basically have like the resources given to them, or they've purchased the resources. So at that point, when they're building them, like I know everyone got bent out of shape by Secret Wars using like AI generated images in their opening.
Yeah.
But they were the ones who created the images that they were feeding back into it, and then creating the AI stuff. And I know it sort of transpired later. There was some stuff that wasn't, but it's again a lot of it. And I know Digital Corridor also went down this path, like as much as they sort of claim that sort of like they produced a lot of the art, how much of that was still fed in to sort of fill in the gaps. Fundamentally, like Jurassic Park, how much bullfrog DNA was also thrown in there. I don't know if Secret Wars was the same.
Well, Wizards have had a
Yes, they have.
Oopsie. An AI oopsie, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like that.
But yeah, I mean, this Nightshade could be interesting, and it could be sort of like the way to protect your art. I think the downside of it is the actual rendering process takes a long time, because it does multiple passes to create up that sort of corrupt image over the top.
Right.
And it can have effects on the sort of the quality of the image, because again, it's going through rendering software, so it has to like fundamentally recreate the image while it's creating the corruption. So, but again, technological arms race once more started off like, and who knows where it goes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a part of me that there is a part of me that was like, I kind of wish a lot of AI was a lot more ethical than it is.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are using AI for like role-playing purposes, and it's massive. But
I mean, like all things, there are, for some of the tech that's out there that we know about as being something bad, actually had genuine good intentions when it was started. Like Napster being a very now this is a dated reference, but fundamentally what the iTunes store became was what Napster was going to be.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get anyone to settle on the idea, and eventually it ended up being the pirating, haven that we all knew for a long time.
Yeah.
So again, AI has benefits of AI art has benefits of being used in a good way, but it has to be used ethically. And the problem is, at the moment, people aren't using it. LimeWire, I think, was designed for and to be pirating software rather than Napster, which was actually, there was a really good documentary on Napster as well. But Napster was designed to be something completely different and only became what it was through the circumstances it was put through. But yeah, if AI art was more ethical, and if it wasn't seen as like the Renaissance, that thing I hate when people are talking about it as if it's like the Renaissance, then yeah, I think it would, it has its purpose in the world if used right.
But it's such a big if.
Yeah, it's a big if. Because like all these things, it's about the people at the end of the day. The thing might have been designed with good intentions, like Napster, but it's the audience who make it what it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have tools to do bad things, and we are doing bad things, as is human nature.
Yeah. The Hollywood writers thing. A lot of that revolving around AI.
Yeah, I mean, that did revolve around AI, and I'm glad they sort of managed to get some resolution out of it, because it's they're always the first ones to get absolutely shafted when it comes to Hollywood trying to save a few bucks. I mean, this is like the second major writer strike we've had in like the amount of time. I remember the last one, and that was because they just weren't being paid for their work. They weren't getting the royalties for their work. These people were creating the stories and everything, and basically after that it fundamentally wasn't theirs to benefit from. And it's the same sort of thing. AI, how are we now? We have 3 hours. We're at the 3-hour mark.
Hey!
I have bored the internet long enough.
Right. Well, I have gotten more done tonight than I would have otherwise.
And I think we fundamentally reached a tavern between dimensions criteria. It was nerds and natter and nonsense.
Nonsense.
And I think my son has just woken up, so this might be a good time to...
Perfect timing.
Perfect time. I mean, he could put himself back to sleep, and my God, I hope he puts himself back to sleep. I should probably go check on that.
Sure. Well, thank you for impromptu jumping on, Carl.
No, you're welcome. You think you needed some company, don't you?
Yes. Thank you, everyone in chat who's been lurking and loitering. I appreciate that.
Everyone who's come and gone as well.
I would argue, I would be very, very impressed if you are watching this after the fact. If you are watching this in the future, I applaud you for your tenacity, and I appreciate your patience. I hope the Lofi. Where am I? There I am. I hope the Lofi has been to your liking.
The Lofi's been good.
Good. We stream every other Tuesday, and we upload loads and loads of stuff, so make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new things. Normally they're a bit shorter than this, but times is hard.
He needed pushing, and we pushed him. We pushed him that little bit close to the finish line.
ADHD brain required the body doubling. So yes. Right. Thank you once again. Thank you all. Love you all. Bye.
Bye. I think he managed to re-soothe himself.
How do I work this? It's been so long.
We still streaming.
We are. Right. Bye.